Before he was knocking heads off in UFC and going viral, Derrick Lewis made a stop in Bellator. And I feel like nobody talks about this. His opponent was pretty legit, and we got a wild, gritty fight where we saw flashes of the Black Beast we know today. He was a raw, chaotic fighter even before the fame. This is the story of the forgotten Derrick Lewis Bellator brawl, and how it shaped him as the lovable knockout artist we know today. Derrick Lewis made his pro debut in 2010 against former WWE wrestler Mitch from the Spirit Squad. Yes, that Spirit Squad, the male cheerleading gimmick. Apparently Mitch was an MMA fighter, and he only had one fight against Derrick Lewis. Imagine having one MMA fight and you get locked in the cage with the Black Beast. Lewis would win this fight and almost lose his shorts in the process, making for a victorious debut. Nick Mitchell, or Mitch, would hang up the gloves following this. But Derrick Lewis would continue his regional career. He went 3-1 on the regional scene, only losing to future UFC fighter Sean Jordan. But in 2011, opportunity called in the form of Bellator. Lewis was originally scheduled to debut at Bellator 45 against Thiago Santos, not the one you're thinking of. The fight was scrapped due to injury, so instead, he debuted at Bellator 46. This would be against Tony Johnson. Johnson also only had one loss, but that was to Daniel Cormier, which was a pretty decent run out of DC. Tony Johnson was a legit wrestler out of Iowa State, though. This was not going to be an easy task for Derrick Lewis. But in round one, he came out swinging wild, much like he does today. Johnson utilized his wrestling early and just established the tone with multiple takedowns and dominant top control. He would even pass to mount several times and unleash some ground and pound. Lewis had explosive moments, but he was just grounded repeatedly. Round one was an easy 10-9 Johnson, and in round two, his wrestling game continued. He was losing some steam though, and Lewis was becoming hard to hold down. The Black Beast started finding his rhythm, but just couldn't stay on his feet long enough. Another round in the books for Tony Johnson. Lewis landed a big shot early in the third round, and this caused Tony Johnson to go back to his bread and butter, wrestling. This time, Lewis would sprawl and just punish him with hammer fists. Tony Johnson himself even commented on this.
Well, I had when I fought with Bellator, I had his leg on the cage, and he just hammer fisted me. I think he was like at the 3 or 4, I was getting lightheaded. I was like, oh shit, I can't stay here anymore. Like, and after the fight, my head had like soft spots. I felt like a newborn baby. You know what I mean? Like he hits that hard. So with a dude like that, you have to wear him out. You have to pressure him.
Johnson was exhausted by the end of it, and Lewis had his strongest round. But it was too little too late, and Tony Johnson would win by unanimous decision 29-28. Lewis would leave Bellator and go 6-1 in his next 7 fights, even winning the Legacy FC Heavyweight Championship and defending it. In 2014, he made his UFC debut, and the legend of the Black Beast began. I think we all know how that one turned out, and he continues to be a fan favorite to this day. It's interesting to see his career start in Bellator, buried on the prelims with what seems to me is lost media. But that's why I exist, to tell these stories that maybe some of you care about. I don't know. Am I the only one? If you do care, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more weird MMA stories and coverage.